next girlfriend, our guest, needs no introduction. She's the author of not one, not two, but 9 New York Times best-selling and award-winning books, and the co-author of 2 Chicken Soup for the Soul books that sold 500 million copies. Talk about overachiever. She's an incredible businesswoman and even has the very coveted achievement of stealing a kiss with the one and only Elvis Presley. Yes, girlfriends, we are talking about the wonderful, the amazing godmother of Chicken Soup books, Diana von Welanetz Wentworth. This is a pinch myself moment, being able to chat with one of my all-time idols. Diana joins us via Zoom. Please give her a warm Zoom welcome.
Hi, everybody. Oh, what an exciting thing to be a part of. I'm so excited about this.
We are so excited to have you. Diana, here at the Girlfriend Hour, we reflect a lot on purpose and finding your purpose. Was there a specific moment or event or experience that set you on the path of coaching and writing?
Well, you know, I didn't know it at the time, but what I loved was cooking, and I especially loved gathering people around the table. There was something about the energy of that, but I thought it was about the food. So my first career really had to do with cooking and entertaining. And so I was writing recipes and, you know, things like that. And Martha Stewart and I were considered the East and West Coast experts on entertaining in those days. And my late husband, Paul von Welanetz, and I had a wonderful cooking show. We had a school on Sunset Boulevard on the Sunset Strip where Wolfgang Puck would teach his classes. And we wrote 6 cookbooks. And then we had to reinvent ourselves, as I've had to do many times in my life.
Oh my gosh, you certainly have. Now, I've been dying to ask you, tell us about that kiss.
Oh, well, it was really quite magical because it gave me a clue to inner listening, which has been my greatest skill as a woman. I was in a sorority at UCLA, and one day I asked the sorority sisters to turn the music down, and I said, can you just turn that down? And somebody said, oh, Diana doesn't like Elvis Presley. And there was this kind of moment of, I don't know what it was, but it just stopped me in my tracks. And I said, actually, I do like him, and I'm going to date him someday. And they were shocked. I was shocked that I'd said such a thing. I mean, where did that even come from? But 2 months later, my mother took me to Paris. We were going on a cook's tour. I'd never been there before, and we were staying in a hotel called the Prince de Galles. And one of the kids on the tour came running up to me and said, Diana, Elvis Presley's in the dining room. And I'm too scared to ask him for an autograph. So I said, oh, well, come with me. I went in the dining room. There was nobody there but Elvis and these 2 bodyguards. He was in his army uniform. It was his first leave from Germany. And he had come to Paris. And I'm going to make this story really short because there's a lot to it, actually. But long story short, he asked my mother if he could take me that night to the Lido nightclub.
Ooh.
And I think he really just needed a girl on his arm because he would have been torn to shreds. You know how handsome he was. And in his army uniform, twice that handsome. And it was just heavenly. He was holding my hand as we went in, and the press was there, and it was just crazy. And then afterwards, I went to his room, and he sang the song Fascination from the Le Moulin Rouge, because that's where we had gone earlier that evening. So, yeah, there was a kiss there, and then I got to see him many more times over the next 2 years, and I have letters from him. But you know, the thing was, this is the thing. How did I know that? And I realized in looking back over my very long life that I have had these inner promptings or messages that I paid attention to, especially because of that one. I knew that I could trust my inner knowing after I'd said I was going to kiss him, and I did, or date him. And so I've had this super magical life, and I've been in the right place at the right time, and I'm here tonight at the very right time for you, Shar.
Oh, you really are, and I'm so honoured to have you here. Diana, what's been one of your most memorable stories featured in the Chicken Soup for the Soul series? Why do you love it so much?
Oh, it was very precious. Everybody thought Chicken Soup for the Soul was a cookbook in the beginning because of the title. And of course, it wasn't. And so, because of my past, Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen, who I was in the presence of them both when they decided to do the book, they decided that I had to write the cookbook. And so the very first story in the book takes place on Thanksgiving. And my mother said to me, she said, "Here, come with me." And she pulled me into the pantry and she says, "I want to tell you something. You have to make me a promise." And I said, "What?" She said, "I want you to promise me that when I'm gone, you will never, ever feel guilty about me. You've been a wonderful daughter. There's nothing I would change about you. And I've spent my whole life being guilty about my own mother. So you have to make me that promise." And I thought, what greater gift could a mother give a daughter? And besides, she had amnesia about what a problem child I was.
Oh my gosh, that is just beautiful. Diana, what's your go-to physical activity? How do you love to move your body?
Well, this year, at my advanced age, I made a goal of really upping my physicality. And I live in Palm Springs where it's 111 degrees here today. And so I don't go out walking, but I am a certified yoga teacher. And I do yoga, I do Qigong with somebody I watch on YouTube. And I run around the house and I do squats. And I made a deal with myself that I would do at least one series of these exercises every day. And I keep track of my steps. And I think, well, that's probably enough right now, but I try to do everything I can. I take swim classes, and it's really important for me to keep my energy and my stamina up,
That's enough. You're saying that's enough right now. Oh my gosh, does anyone else do that level? I'm listening to that going, I don't do most of that. That's amazing. And you and your late husband, Paul, were not only married but for a very long time, but you're also close business partners. And my husband, Russ, and I have been married 30 years, and we've worked together for a few companies, and now we run our business together, and we have our moments, let's just say. And, he's noisy typing from the office. He types very loudly with one finger. I have to close my door, his door, and put headphones in. Tell us about some of the things or challenges or interesting moments that you had working with Paul.
Oh, gosh. Well, Paul was an artist, and Paul didn't particularly like the limelight. So in 1985, when women went into the workforce, women didn't want to spend 3 days cooking dinner anymore, and our whole career fell apart. And so we were invited into the Soviet Union with a group of leaders, Barbara Marx Hubbard and Dennis Weaver, and all these people who went there to make a documentary. And I noticed that everybody was sharing resources. They were still gathered around the table. And I said to Paul, we don't have to cook the food to gather the people around the table. And so it was so great because he was mechanical. He could carry all the sound equipment, and we started the Inside Edge, which was a very early morning breakfast club. And Jack Canfield and Barbara DeAngelis and Mark Victor Hansen and Louise Hay and Susan Jeffers, all of these people hadn't written books yet. And they all joined the Inside Edge, and a lot of them attributed their careers to what happened there, that they made the right connections.
I just love to stop you there, Diana, because I think that rolling those names off your tongue so naturally, and we're sitting here going, Louise Hayes, Mark Victor Hansen, it's like, that's where we all got together. That's such a big moment. I know you and I have had this chat before, and you were saying we all sat around and they're turning up with little manuscripts or a little journal, you said, and they had all these ideas of maybe I should do this, and now they're famous people that we all look up to.
So famous, those people. And I used to give parties that you had to show up as who you were going to be in 5 years, and it was really confronting.
What a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, it was really exciting. And there was one woman who was writing a book, and she showed up in a limousine with 3 mock books. And she said she just returned from her 3rd New York Times bestseller tour.
Wow.
And she actually achieved that. That was Dr. Susan Jeffers, who wrote Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Oh. Right, we need to have a girlfriend hour party. Who are you going to be in 5 years? Who think that's a great idea? You've got to come out, Diana. You have to come out to Australia for that.
Okay, pay my way out here.
Oh, tell us more. That's so exciting.
It was really exciting. And Jack Canfield recently at our 30th anniversary said that he had used that 5-year ahead party theme for every training he has done in the past 30 years. And so does Dr. Joe Dispenza and everything. So I take credit for the idea of doing that very confronting thing and just showing up and being there and just imagining the whole thing, which really creates a lot of magic.
Oh, you should take credit for it. It's amazing. And isn't it, tell us, when you were going through that moment of putting that idea together, did you have any doubts of, oh, maybe this won't work, but I'll try it anyway? Like, what was going through your mind?
Well, I started small. The first one we gave in somebody's home, but the second one, the next year, we did on the Queen Mary. And the people who were too scared to do it dressed up like they were paparazzi. And so when people got out of their cars, they had all these light bulbs going off and flashes and everything. And it gave everybody this feeling that this was real, you know. It became quite the thing and brought a lot of people into the Inside Edge, too, that probably wouldn't have joined otherwise. So it was thrilling. And Paul was just the best. You know, in answering your question, Paul was such a handsome, gorgeous, divine man. And we had this 25-year marriage before he passed of cancer. And I just have been so blessed to have romantic love in my life because that was what I wanted when I came into this world more than anything.
Oh, and he's been your great love. Can you share with us the story behind the book, Send Me Someone, and what compelled you to write about this experience?
Oh, I could not write about it. It was so amazing because maybe a week before Paul passed, he suddenly said, I don't want you to be alone. And it surprised me so much that I said, send me someone. And he said, I will. And so I wrote a book called Send Me Someone. And it's the story of how 2 months after Paul passed, a man walked into the Inside Edge. And the story is amazing because we were married 6 months after that. And I was married to Ted Wentworth for 31 years. And he was my soulmate in my later life. And Paul was my soulmate in my early life. So
Aww.
I've only been alone now for a whole year.
You are the master manifester, my friend. You really are.
I am. I'm telling everybody to expect magic and they'll get it.
Absolutely. As this is the Girlfriend Hour, Diana, I'd love to ask you, what do your girlfriends mean to you?
Oh, my gosh. Always. I've loved girlfriends. And I've just started a business with a partner who had been the president of the Inside Edge to create wisdom circles for women who want to create an encore in their life. And my whole life is about encore right now. I'm 81 years old, and it's time for me to do this fantastic encore. And I want to take people along with me on this journey of what could be the most wild and outrageous and wonderful thing that we could create as a legacy and as a great finale. So that's really what I'm all up to now. And women just sitting around sharing at the deepest level, you know, not just sitting around a table and talking about clothing and the weather and where they get their hair done, but talking about the most meaningful parts of their lives, being vulnerable. I always say that vulnerability is a superpower. And women are willing to go there with other women. And I think many of my most growthful moments have been in the company of women that I adore and who support me in all the best kind of ways. And I love to do that in return.
Oh, amazing. And that's exactly what we're trying to create here on the Girlfriend Hour. Diana, so we're going to jump into a fun little section called Time Out. So has anyone else missed the excitement and wonder of travel these past couple of years since the pandemic has left us grounded? I certainly have. But I'm a next level kind of travel crazy. My friends know this about me, but I actually don't go anywhere without my passport and a spare pair of knickers in my handbag in case I get the urge to get on a plane and go wandering. Seriously. These past couple of years have been so challenging, knowing I can't just take off on a spontaneous trip. And so as borders open, we're getting more excited about travelling. I'm going to be asking our guests today to share their tidbits on travel, memorable experiences, favourite places to go, hilarious mid-flight stories, you name it. Welcome to Time Out. So, Diana, rapid fire travel questions for you. Favourite city?
Favorite city? Oh, I was hoping you'd ask me my favorite travel experience.
We're getting there.
Okay, Paris.
Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Most romantic travel memory?
Okay, here. I was on a trip to Asia with my parents. I was 21 years old. We were on our first day in Hong Kong. I woke up really early in the morning, got all dressed up for some reason, I didn't know why, went down and stood in the lobby like at 6:30 in the morning, wondering what I was doing there. The restaurant wasn't even open. And the elevator door opened and out walked Paul von Welanetz. And we were engaged 3 days later.
Oh. Wow. Okay, best shopping.
Best shopping. Oh my God. Hong Kong was amazing. You could have these dresses made for you within hours. It was incredible. You would take just something to show them and they had all sorts of fabrics. Oh, I think that was my favorite.
Okay, most memorable mid-air moment.
Oh.
That you can share on TV.
You don't need to know that. Elvis wasn't there.
Okay, beep, beep. Okay, best meal ever.
Oh, best meal ever was at the herb farm in the state of Washington. 9 courses, 9 wines.
Oh.
And the chefs were explaining all the way through. I mean, it took 4 hours. It was, every single thing was magnificent. I'll never forget it. And then the next week we went to the French Laundry where lunch was $800 and this dinner had been $400. And I tell you that the herb farm won that one.
Oh, there you go. Most awe-inspiring landmark.
Oh, I suppose it was Ted and I used to take what we called the road trip to surrender. We would only know the first place we were going to land, and we would go. We did one that was 8,000 miles, and every morning we'd say, "Where shall we go?" And I think Mount Rushmore was so surprising to actually be there and see that. It was incredible.
Oh.
Or Yosemite, where Ted proposed in the Ahwahnee Hotel in front of the window there. Aww. Yeah, that was good.
Wow. Okay. Oh. Which country has the friendliest people? Australia.
You know, when I went to Japan when I was really young, I was really surprised. Of course, they hadn't seen somebody who was 5'9" wearing a kimono. There wasn't much travel in those days, but people would just come up and touch me, and like I was some kind of statue or something. And it was just felt really weird, but I thought it was so sweet. It left me feeling like a movie star or something.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Getting personal here. Toilets, squat or Western?
Oh, please. No, there's no contest. Have you ever dropped a shoe down one of those things? That was the worst.
In certain countries, snakes actually come out from the bottom. And I've been in one of them. Okay. What's your favourite foreign word that you can say on the show?
Pajausta.
Oh, okay.
It was the only word I knew in Russian, and it means please and thank you. And I was carrying a little doll in the Soviet Union on the metro, and my job was to give it away to a child because we were being filmed. And I chose a child, and I held it out to her, and she shrank back. She was so scared. And then I held it out to the mother, and I said, "Pожалуйста," which means please and you are welcome. And the mother and the father stood up and put their hand on their hearts and took the doll. And it was just, I just couldn't, my feet didn't touch the ground afterwards.
Oh.
Paul said, "You will be known as the Madonna of the Metro."
Absolutely. You have the best stories. Okay, so when you're traveling, final question. When you're traveling, who contacts you the most from home?
Well, I have been in lockdown so long. I finally went to Hawaii, but I always had my husbands with me. So, I can't think of who. My daughter, probably, my beautiful daughter, Lexi, who is staying with me right now. And she's going to help me get my house all organized, because now that I don't have a husband, I need to create this sacred space for me, just as a sovereign woman, to see what that looks like for a while.
Oh, amazing. Diana, I would love to thank you so much for being our first international guest on the Girlfriend Hour Lounge. It's been my absolute honour and delight to have you here. You've been an icon of mine forever, and to have you here as honouring us, all of our girlfriends here in the room, with your magical stories. Keep being you, and we hope to have you back on the show again. Please give Diana a beautiful warm welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.